Hello, all, and welcome to this hands on lab. In our lab today, we will learn how to batch load multi measure data from a S3 bucket to an Amazon Timestream database and table. A couple of things to keep in mind before we continue further ahead. AWS services used in this lab can incur charges. Hence, ensure that you clean up all resources after completing this lab. Prerequisites for this lab is knowledge of Amazon Timestream. Hence, if you do not know what this service is all about, please refer to this overview tutorial that I had created some time back. URL to the tutorial is mentioned right here at the bottom. I will also have it mentioned in the description of this video. Reference URLs. Please keep this particular URL handy. In this lab, we will be referring to the content mentioned in this particular URL frequently. In fact, the sample file that we will be downloading is also from this URL. I have mentioned the file, the direct link to the file over here as well, right? But let me go to that particular page. There it is. So this is that same URL that I was talking about. And if I scroll down right here, this is where the sample CSV is. So if I hover on this particular link where it says sample CSV, this is the same link that I have mentioned right here. So we will be downloading our CSV from that particular link. Also, if you scroll down a little, you also have your JSON script over here. So you can certainly copy this JSON script as we move further along. So keep this URL open, keep it handy. I will have both of these links mentioned in the description of this video. Scenario for our lab today. So what we need to do is we need to create an Amazon Timestream database and table. And in this particular database and table, we will batch load data from a CSV file that is uploaded to a S3 bucket. Right? So the scenario is very simple, very straightforward. There's nothing complicated about it. Step 1. Please ensure that your user has access to Amazon Timestream and S3. If you can verify your access, or if you are not if you do not have access to IAM policies, etc., please ensure that whoever your admin or your root user is, they grant you access to these two particular policies. It may be for a short time so that you can complete the lab successfully. So Amazon Timestream full access and S3 full access is what is needed for this particular lab. Step 2. So we will be going to Amazon Timestream databases, we'll create a database. This particular database is going to be a standard database. Now I am going to use the name MetricsDB. You are more than welcome to use any name that you like, right? We will keep the remaining values as default and finally go ahead and create the database. Now, if you are like me, who does not remember the names of databases and tables, please have a notepad handy and copy the name of your database over there. So let us get started. So let me go to my console. So this is my console right here, right? And time stream. Let me see. This is Timestream. So I'm going to Amazon Timestream. Okay, databases. Create database. Okay, so we've completed these 3 steps. Now it's saying choose standard database. So standard database is chosen. The name that I'm going to use is MetricsDB. So let me give this particular name. Again, you can give whatever name that you like. I'm going to copy this right here, right? And I'm going to leave everything else common. If you do not have a key, go ahead and make the key, but otherwise typically you should have a key, right? And then finally, go ahead and click on create database. So let me go back, click on create database. So our database has been created successfully. So we have completed step 2. Step 3. So after creating the database, we'll be creating a table. So again, we go to Amazon Timestream, tables, create table, right? So that's the first 3 steps. Then choose a database, and in that particular database, we will be creating a table called as EC2. Now, again, you can give whatever name that you like. For this particular table, we will be using custom partitioning, and we will, under custom partitioning, we will be using the key type as dimension and the key name as region. We'll leave the remaining values as default, and finally go ahead and create our table. And again, we will copy a table name to our notepad. So let me go here, create table, choose our database. This is my database. My table name is EC2. So EC2, all right, I'm going to copy my table name here. So this is DB. This is table. Custom partitioning, choose attribute type. It was saying choose attribute type as dimension. So let me go back here. Dimension, right? And the key name is going to be region. Okay, so say region, enforce partition key record. Everything is going to remain normal, right? And all values are default. So I'm going to leave everything as default as is, and then click on create table. So a table has been created successfully. So we have completed step 3. Step 4. Now we need to go ahead and create a S3 bucket and upload our CSV to that. Right. So ensure that you create the bucket in the same region as your Amazon Timestream. Right. So we are going to download our CSV file. Again, remember the link is the same link that I had shared earlier. It's the reference link. It will be mentioned in the description of this window. And it is this particular link right here. Okay, so this link that you can see over here, again, scroll down, go to sample CSV. And if you click on sample CSV, so it has started downloading this particular file. As you see, it's downloaded my file over here. So I believe I have, yeah, this is my downloads folder. If you see by batch, load sample file has been downloaded over here. I'm going to select the file and extract all. It's a compressed file, right? So extract. This is my CSV file. So I'm going to open it now. So batch load sample file. And this is the data. Do not modify the data. Okay. I'm just showing the data to you so that you can see what is there. The different fields and attributes and dimensions over here, right? And you have, it's a multi-measure data. So of course you have a timestamp, you have your measure name, which is metrics. Your dimensions are region, location, host name, and your 2 main measures are memory utilization and CPU utilization. So do not change the data. We are just verifying and viewing the data so that we understand what kind of data is mentioned or is available in this particular file. Now, how many records are there? So if you scroll down, there should be a total of 99 records. So if you see it's coming over here on row number 100, and that is because the first row right up on the top are the column names. So there are a total of 99 records in this particular file, right? And remember that a partitioning key that we used for the database, the dimension was region. So this is that particular partitioning key or that particular dimension region. There are other dimensions as well. If you would like to use a different dimension, go ahead and do that. And these are the two measures, that is memory utilization and CPU utilization. And this is our measure's name, which is metrics. Hence the name metrics database. So hopefully this was helpful. This is the timestamp. And once we load the data, of course, this is right now being shown in a scientific number format, but once we load the data, this would be far more simplified. Okay, so I'm going to close this, right? Again, do not save. Okay, so let me go back over here. So we have downloaded our CSV file, right? We downloaded the CSV file, it was a compressed file. We extracted the CSV file, we verified our data as well. We know that there are 99 records, right, in that particular file. So now what we need to do is we need to go to Amazon S3 and create our bucket and upload our CSV file to that particular S3 bucket. So let me go back over here and I'm going to go to S3. In fact, S3 is right here in my favorites bar. So I can go directly to S3 as well. Right, so then go to buckets. Okay, and then click on create bucket. Same region as my Amazon Timestream, which is East Ohio. Bucket name, I'm going to give my Timestream lab bug. You can give again any name that you like, right? I'm going to keep everything as it is. I'm not going to go crazy with it. Let me copy the name over here and click on create bucket. So this is my bucket right there, right? And again, if you would like, you can create a folder, right? Or you can directly upload your CSV file as well. So add files, right? So downloads. This is my CSV file. So open and my file is getting uploaded, right? And this is the destination, upload file. And my file has been uploaded successfully. Now, again, it's up to you. You can create a folder. If you don't want to create a folder, it's still fine. So our step 4 is over. Step 5. So now what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and create a batch load task. So again, we are going to go to a time stream, go to batch load task, create a task over there, choose our database and table, choose our S3 data source and our CSV file. And then we are going to choose either Visual Builder or JSON editor for our data model mapping, right? This is our timestamp for unit for our data is going to be milliseconds. And then we finally click on load data source and columns, and eventually the data will be loaded. Now for this particular step, right, that is choosing between Visual Builder and JSON editor, I have actually called that step out and made it step 6, right? So let us complete these few steps and then come back over there. So let me go to Timestream. This is Timestream. Right, batch load task. So that was step number 2. So batch load task, create batch load task. So create batch load task. Okay, choose your target database and table. So my database, my table. And then of course our bucket over here. So my Timestream lab. This is my CSV file. So choose the CSV file. File format settings is all default. So I think we are good. Now, so we have completed this. I think it's saying choose S3 data source as CSV. So I think it's a CSV format. So I think it chose that. So that's good. There's default settings right here. So I believe we are good with all of this. Let me scroll down. Now we have a choice between Visual Builder or JSON. Of course, the timestamp time unit is milliseconds. So which is this particular step. And finally, we come over here and we click on load data source columns. Now you have two options over here. So going back to this particular step, right? So either you can choose Visual Builder or JSON it. So if you choose Visual Builder and you click on load data source columns, you will have to physically map the columns by yourself. Okay, so you have to give the mapping, you have to give the attribute type and all of that. So that's one way of doing it. If you are more of a visual person and you like to click around, right? So let me just click on this and say load columns, and you will see that this is the source name, this is the target column name, right? And then for each attribute type, you will have to go over here and then choose the type and then select whether it's a dimension, measure, multi-measure, timestamp, or whatever it is. And finally, also choose the data type for that particular attribute type. So that is one way to do that, right? So let me just move further ahead. So this is, as I said, I've called it out as a separate step. So this is option one. And this table, if you choose this option, this table right here gives you the attribute type and the data type, right? So you can refer to this particular table, go back, for example, say, hey, timestamp, data type is timestamp. Next one is, what is that? Measure name. Data type is blank. And then let's say, what was that? It is a dimension. And what is this? Region is WhereCare. So you can literally go about doing this by yourself. That is one way of doing it, right? Now, if you do not want to do that, right? So let's say I just say reset all mappings and everything is all gone. If you do not want to do that, you can always use a JSON editor, right? Now for JSON editor, if you see over here, it gives you a template. Now for this particular lab, you can always go back to the reference link that I had shared earlier, right? Scroll down. And this is that entire JSON right here. So you can copy it from here, go back to your JSON editor, select everything, delete this, and paste it right there. So now instead of clicking around all over the place, right, your entire JSON script has been mentioned here. I personally like the JSON route because, for 4 or 5 columns, it's okay. You can pretty much, go about clicking around all over the place. But if you have more columns, that's when you get into trouble. Remember, this is a multi-measure database. So right now we have 2 measures, but hey, you could potentially have, 10 to 15 measures depending upon how much data you want to collect, right? So I personally like the JSON route because I can, look at my script. I can look at each and every field. I can copy paste. I can create my entire script and then eventually just come here and paste it and I'm done. So I'm going to take this JSON script, right? So this is the visual builder route. So if you like this, you can go about doing it. The other way that I told you is using the JSON script from the reference link. I've just copied the script over here just for reference, but you use the link to copy and then eventually paste it in your editor. And finally, once we have done that, then we can click on, so if you want, on next. I believe there's one step that we missed. Yeah. So this is the step. So once you finish these, you need to choose your S3 bucket to log any kind of errors. So you can use the same bucket. So I'm going to say, hey, use this bucket. You can log errors over there and then click next. And here you can see all the configurations. You can see your JSON script. And finally, we are going to click on create batch load task. So let's click over here. and our batch load is running right now. Hopefully this thing works and our data is loaded, right? So it's still running. It generally takes a few seconds to a couple of minutes depending upon your bandwidth. So let me see. So it's completed. So that's a good thing. So let me go back and look. Okay, so this is my task. It has been completed right here. It has been completed successfully. We process 99 records, which is good. We ingested also 99 records, which is very good, right? And that's our S3 location. So we have completed step 5 and step 6 as well, of course, using the JSON editor. Step 7. So now our batch load was successful. We have loaded the data in our Amazon Timestream database and table. So what's next? Next is we need to go and verify that data. So we will go to our query editor. We select our database, our table, run a simple query, and check if we have 99 records. Now, I'm using a very simple query to kind of test the waters over here. In real life, you can slice and dice the data however you want. It's your data, right? You can run complex queries with your data. It's totally up to you. The intention of this lab is to show you how to batch load data into Amazon Timestream database and table. So let's go over here, go to query editor, right? So let's see, this is our matrix DB. Our table is right here at the bottom. You can see all the columns. And here we are going to say select stuff from matrix DB dot EC2 and click on run. And we have a total of 99 records. And these are the different records that you see over here. Now, of course, you can go back and say that, hey, for example, select star from this, where matrix DB dot, let's say EC2 dot hostname is like this. So let's see if this thing runs. And we have one record, right? Let's see if this is accurate. So I'm going to open my CSV file again, right? And we are going to go to a host name. So that's the beauty of having a CSV file. Set a filter over here. This is a query editor. I'm going to copy this host name from here. Again, you could use any host name, right? Come here, filter with that particular host name. And yes, we have one single record for this particular host name, right? So let me see if I can select a different host name. For example, let's say this one. Again, one record for that particular host name. Not sure if there are any records for a specific host name, multiple records for a host name. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's filter it on a region. So AP East. For AP East 1, we have 15 records. Okay. So I can zoom in a little so you can see. Right. So let's see, I'm saying, I'm going to remove this and say region equal to AP East 1. Ensure there are no special characters. And now we come here and run this particular data. We've got 15 records as expected, right? And all our 15 records are right here. So our batch load was successful. We've ran multiple queries over here, right? You can run your queries on timestamp, on a specific measure, on a multiple dimensions, multiple measures. However you want to slice and dice the data, like measures for a specific time interval, that is also possible. So whatever you would like, you can certainly do that. So that's pretty much it from me, folks. So we've completed step 7 successfully. And with that, we complete this lab as well. Hopefully, this lab was helpful. Do try it out, right? Timestream is a fantastic database, especially if you are, using time series data. It is going to be very helpful, and hopefully, you know, uh, you get a chance to practice this lab and post your comments. So that's it from me today, guys. I will see you in some other video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.